Now, one of the misconceptions which Hinduism has suffered is that it is very otherworldly, it is superstitious, it is not practical about this world. But if you look at the archaeological evidence, people in ancient India were quite advanced in many technologies. You look at civil engineering, you look at architecture, metallurgy, you look at medicine, farming, water harvesting, ships, on and on, cotton, so many things. And you find that the evidence from early centuries, very early centuries, is very strong. Up to the British period where the British are remarking that Indians make superior steel. Ancient Indian steel called wood steel was exported to Greece, Roman Empire, to make swords and things like that, because it was far better than anything they could make. So I'm talking about practical things. This is not just some otherworldly, philosophical, mystical discovery, but these are very practical things that people were doing very well. The first metal to be distilled was zinc in India, in Rajasthan. It's archaeologically accepted by the world community. In fact, some European society of metallurgists or whatever put a big thing out there in that location that this is the first place where zinc was distilled. Now, the distillation of zinc is a breakthrough, because when you melt and when you heat a metal and it becomes liquid, then it becomes vapor, it evaporates, all the impurities are left behind, it evaporates, and then in another place you freeze it back, becomes solid again, you get the pure metal, 100%. All the impurities didn't evaporate, so they're left behind. So when you can make pure metals, then you can make alloys of arbitrary combinations. You see, so India had leading export technology in this sort of thing. And if you look at the archaeological sites and look at the evidence, there was a thriving economy of these. This would be like today's modern technology. It would be a big breakthrough in material science for that time. And this is also this type of prosperity of the external world. And I want to emphasize that Hindu society was not at the expense of neglecting the external world, which is a very, very big misunderstanding, we are told. That Hindus need to be saved by others because they don't know how to look after themselves, they're not progressive, they're frozen in time, they are, they don't have the idea of progress, of rationality. Well, how did they do all these things I'm talking about, you see? You also notice economic prosperity. The European historians of the history of economics, including now the latest encyclopedias on the history of world economics, will tell you that till the 1850s, India and China had about 2/3 of the world GDP. India had like 25%, China had 30%, something like that. And what's now called the West was less than 20%, including Europe, US, and so on. And this it took about 100 years, I think from 1750s to 1850, that is when the decline came, and there was an industrial revolution in England, a whole lot of transfer. India, from being an export country, became an importing country. England, from being an import-oriented country, became an export-oriented country. That 90-year, 100-year period is when things shifted. But until that, for thousands of years, India and China were very advanced in economy. And this is written and documented by lots of traders and lots of ancient historians. So you have to understand that there is this inner journey, Adhyatma Vidya, mystical, trying to do some knowledge gathering inside, using these meditation techniques and other techniques, and you cannot say that this is otherworldly, mystical, world negating. These are unfortunate labels that have been given to Hinduism, and we've accepted them. Whenever I'm told that Hindus are mystical, they're otherworldly, they're world negating, I tell them that, look, chances are 1 in 10 doctors in your town may be an Indian. Now, he's not world negating. You don't want a world negating guy doing surgery on you. people who are in Google, people who are in NASA, they're not some world negating bunch of guys. So then the answer is, yeah, but they learned all this from the West, it wasn't like that, and this is so sad. Our people are colonized. So Narayan Murthy, when asked once why Indians so smart, and he said, oh, British, we're very grateful British came and taught us math and English. And so, we don't even know our own history. So it's so ridiculous, So the history of science is not well known, of Indian science. And this is why my foundation started a 20-volume project many years ago. We finished 9 volumes on the history of Indian science and technology. And we focused on hard evidence-based technologies like steel, zinc, copper production, metallurgy, cities, making construction material, water highways, these sort of things, shipping, and so on. And so to remove this, to combat this stigma that one of the things wrong with this Hindu tradition is that it leads to social deprivation, and you don't care about healing people, and you are worrying about, because they come up with some kind of a Hindu argument to show that it's a useless thing, that you are trapped in some cycle of karmic fatalism, and that's why you abuse your women, that's why there's poor people, we have to send some missionaries to rescue you. And so if people become Hindus, then they're going to be abusive. This sort of a very negative, almost like an anti-social portrayal has been frozen about us. Whereas if you look at all the facts of the science and technology contributions are not deniable, and they are not, you cannot argue against physical evidence.